What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be doing the book review of The Island of Adventure. Sorry guys, I haven't been really uploading for a pretty long time because my exams, but now I'm back and I'm going to be back to be uploading weekly. And The Island of Adventure is a book from the series of Enid Blyton, the Adventure series, and this is the first book. And I mean, this series, the adventures in it are nothing compared to the Famous Five or Secret Seven or the Five Fine Outers and Dogs and pretty much all of the other mystery series that I have read in Enid Blyton. This is a mystery plus adventure and it's really exciting. I would really suggest getting the book for yourself. So without any further ado, let's begin the video. So in this book there are four main characters, which are all kids, which is Philip, Dinah, Jack, and Lucienne. So these are the four main characters of this book. So the first book begins by telling us how Philip has to go to this extra classes because he had flu and he had missed out on a lot more weekends of studies, and he has to now attend these classes, and he really hates it because he wants to go home back and he can't. So he's studying, and then suddenly he starts hearing all these weird noises, and then he sees there's a parrot. The parrot flies to this boy, which is Jack. Now Philip is a boy who loves animals to and crazy extent. I mean, he can hypnotize lizards, bees, and I don't know what not, but he can do a lot of things. Dinah, on the other hand, which is his sister, really hates it a lot. Jack is a fan of birds, not all the animals but birds, but Jack can't stand other animals as well. Now because Philip can pet rats and mice and hamsters and dormouses and even lizards and snakes, as well as this snails and slugs, so he can stand them. Lucienne is Jack's sister. Now Jack is just sent here to study as well, and Lucienne hasn't, but they are so close. Both of their parents died, and now they have to live with an uncle. So their uncle is not really that much of he doesn't really take that much care of them, and it's just that it's not that much. They never got the love of their parents. And for Philip and Dinah, on the other hand, Philip's father has died, so now his mother takes care of them, but his mother has to work, so they are sent to Craggy Tops to live with their aunt. So anyways, these all Dinah is not here. Dinah is back at Craggy Tops. Dinah and Philip aren't really that close. Anyways, so the first thing that happens is that Philip meets Jack and Lucienne, and he really likes them, and Philip has to go home as well. So when he does go home, Philip says to Jack that, why don't you go with us as well? Now the reason for that was because Jack's uncle had broken his ankle, and they had to his leg, and they had to actually live with the teacher as well. Now obviously nobody enjoys living with their teacher, so that's why Philip planned this. So Philip said to them that they can go, and Mr. Roy took a big dislike to Kiki. Now Kiki was the parrot. Alright, so the next thing what happens is that they make a plan, they escape, and they head over to Craggy Tops. Now the Craggy Tops thing is just the person who comes to pick them up really hates Dinner a lot, and he doesn't know about this, so they haven't told anyone that they were escaping yet. So when they do, nobody knows what's gonna happen. The driver who came to pick them up was Joe, which is also the handyman of Aunt Polly, the aunt of Philip and Dinah, who they live with. Their uncle is a mad scientist. Not mad, but he's a very scientist, devoted to his work, and he never comes out and all that. So they arrive, and Joe hates the children a lot. He's very unfriendly. So then what happens is that Dinah comes to meet them as well, And when they're going home, Aunt Polly is mad at them, like super mad. Like she's just so mad. She can't even stand it. So, uh, so then they somehow manage to convince her. She writes a letter to them, and the teacher is totally fine with it. So they decide where to keep them and all, and that's where these guys finally begin living together. Alright, so then what happens is that they start living together, have fun together at the beach, except for Joe. They hate him very much, and he's just, just always following them around and everything, like they're little kids. So one day they discover this weird passage which is starting from the beach in a cave. It's a hole that falls down, and it goes right up to the house. So it's a secret passage. Now, before I tell you this, this hasn't been written yet, but this whole place is very old and has millions of ladybirds and catabombs and all of these things which make it really mysterious. And yeah, I won't give you guys spoilers. Alright, so these guys also discover a boat which certainly isn't Joe's. They think it's Joe's, but it's not. So that is aboard a boat, and they wanted to find the stranger and talk to him so that maybe he could take them out in his boat, because they want to go out in the boats, but Joe is very sullen and he never wants to let them go even near to his boat. Alright, so next they definitely they hear weird sounds at the night, and they go off, and the boys meet Joe there. Alright, so Joe grabs at them, but definitely doesn't see who they are, and they escape into the cave, and they go back towards the house. Now Joe is absolutely definite that they will come out and he can capture them. He doesn't know who the boys are yet. They can be just a bunch of visitors as well. So he decides that he is going to come up early before the tide takes off, and when the tide does, he's going to capture the boys. But he doesn't know that there were Philip and Jack, and they managed to escape through the underground chamber in that place. It actually leads to a storeroom of theirs. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The next thing they do is that they find the boatman, and the boatman tells his name as Bill Smuggs, and they accept it. Yeah, his name is Bill Smuggs, and that's it. So Bill Smuggs was a really fine friend, and they make friends with him, and he sometimes takes them out in his boat. They have lunch with him and stuff like that. The next thing that happens is that Bill Smuggs takes them to the town, where they confuse Joe by he's thinking like, who are these? They're actually them. Joe doesn't know how they can get to the town. This town is really far, and they do meet him, and they confuse him and all. And Bill Smuggs turns to them and takes them on his boat, and they also see the Isle of Gloom. Now this is an island which had been abandoned for many years, and it's said to be weird noises and things going on here. And Bill Smuggs is actually someone who came here to look for birds. Jack tries so hard to make Bill to go to the Isle of Gloom, just because he thinks that there might be birds there which might have gone extinct, like the dodo. Actually blame Bill for getting this idea into his head. Bill isn't really who he seems. Alright, so the next thing that happens is that they manage to persuade Bill that both of the boys can go into the boat alone one day. But obviously Bill makes them promise that they will not go towards the Isle of Gloom in his boat. Really. And he also shows them his hut, which has a very fine radio system. So now Joe has become more and more he's just so suspicious of them, and it's so hard for them to go and meet Bill Smuggs now. Well, then one fine day, these guys manage to go to the Isle of Gloom, and when they go to the Isle of Gloom, they find Bill's pencil there. So they think that Bill is working here for coal mines, and that's pretty sus. And they go to and they get captured, and they tell the guys all about Bill Smuggs and the boat that he owns and everything. But Bill Smuggs isn't their partner. Alright, guess who it is? Joe is their partner. And the machines are not for... Nah, never mind. I won't tell you guys about this. So then all of them manage to escape the island except for Jack, and to save Jack, they tell Bill, and Bill goes into his boat, but his boat has already been smashed. So they find this place where they can go from underground to the Isle of Gloom, and they go there, they find Jack, and then Bill tells them the big truth. Actually, Joe has been working for over 10 years in this place, and he's a money launderer, and he creates fake monies. This is the perfect place to hide everything that they go with. Bill Smuggs is not actually Bill Smuggs, he's Will Cunningham, and he's actually a detective as well as a police and an investigator and all of that stuff as well. He's really high in the police department, and they're laundering money, and Joe is their head. And this, when the guys find out, they're really amazed by that. Anyway, so Bill and all the other people managed to get caught again, and Joe says that they are going to take all of their money, and they lock them in a room, and they then blast the whole place. Well, water starts rolling in, but Bill is smarter than that. Bill says, don't worry guys, I'm going to deal with this because I know how to pick a lock. Anyways, so Bill picks the lock, and Bill goes away, and they all manage to escape there. Now, they are afraid because the water is flooding in, and they're gonna soon be drowned. Bill says, you guys know how to swim, and they both say, yeah, the both boys are there, no girls. So they say that fine, now we're gonna stand up there at the edge of this. Now the tunnel where they go up from it, the rope ladder was removed of course. So the water lifts them up, and as soon as they reach the first rope ladder, they climb out of there and they escape. And at the top, someone says to them, hands up, put your hands up. So they both are really worried, and they think that maybe they are going to be captured by Joe again, but it's a police force. And as soon as Bill appears at the top, they both are freed, and Joe and his companions are caught. And the best part of this book is that Philip's mother decides to adopt Lucianne and Jack as well, and that is how the movie ends. No, it's not the movie. That is how the book ends. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.